A very good evening from Super League HQ. Evening Jens, Dimble, Ian, who I've already seen in the chat, and for anyone else sort of lurking in the background, hope you enjoyed me just clicking on a few players at random there. If you for your own scouting, if you missed it, then obviously at the end you can go back and watch this again. It's only going to be a short show, and that's why I've not even gone as far as getting a co-coms in, because for the sake of 2 games, it's not really worth it. But welcome to the playoff campaign. The regular season is over. We know the 6 teams vying for the trophy, and we will see 4 of them in action tonight. We've got Bostock Stanley, as I put in the post on the Twitter feed. A lot of people's dark horses at the start of the season. They host Halls Vikings, who sensationally grabbed 6th spot from Fulchester in very late and dramatic circumstances. We've also got defending champions Northern Burn. They entertain one of the real surprise packages, really, of the final third of the season or so. Churchtown, who have they've played the very best in recent weeks, and either beaten them or took them very close. Both of these games over 2 legs, I'm sure, will be an absolute cracker. So as I said, short show, just the 2 games, and for all the managers who have requested screenshots, I'll take a short break when the show's finished to do some actual life stuff, and then I will get straight back on the game and start firing through some screenshots for you. But without further ado, let's get going. So the first game tonight, we are going to start with that Bostock Stanley versus Halls Vikings game. Jens, who, as we've alluded to a lot over the last few weeks, started quite well, and then it all sort of turned sour, and then halfway through the league, form certainly took an upward trend, and they made it into the top 6. Good evening, Steve. Welcome to the playoff party. Bostock, they were a little bit quieter at the start of the season, and then they just showed the consistency everyone thought they were capable of. Evening, Scott. Welcome in time for your game. And then, as you can see by their trend line, they have been there or thereabouts pretty much for just over half a season, and for a long period it looked like they might even grab second, but that went to Steve, and that means Scott has this double header against Jens. Reminder, as I've put in the chat, playoffs does mean 5 subs, which is unusual in the Super League for the purists, but it does allow the extra option. Jens didn't make any squad amendments for the playoffs, so his team is as is. As you can see there, without Rustu, who was never going to play anyway. Kandaya, the big injury doubt. Evening, Tato, welcome. If you didn't catch the start before I lifted the mics, mate, I did just start randomly clicking through a few players who managers might be interested in. So at the end, maybe go back and watch the first 9 or 10 minutes, and you might see a player or 2 that you like. Back to the game. Kandaya, the big injury news for this one, means he's missing. Jens sticks with his narrow tactic. Milewski moves from centre to the left of that defensive midfield 3. The fit again, Gerard comes in. Other than that, it's unchanged for them. Lillian Thuram leading the side, hopefully to glory. No, don't go backwards now, Tato. You want to watch the games as they happen live, mate. You go back at the very end. So yeah, last time out, Halls got the win over Churchtown to see them in, and I did just in the last sort of 15 minutes or so post the head-to-heads between the sides. Halls, over the course of history, with the slightly better record, and this season have picked up 4 points. First beating Bostock Stanley 2-0 at home. Milewski, man of the match there. Crespo and Brozak on the score sheet both start tonight, and then not that just a few short weeks ago, a 1-1 draw at Bostock Stanley, where we play tonight. As for Bostock, they do make a squad alteration. Gavilan comes in for the striker's name, who I always struggle to pronounce, Harasimovic, and he comes straight in and gets a place on the bench. This is the Stanley team then. Alephopoulos continues in goal. Sylvester and Lassisi, as they have been pretty much all season. Zé Roberto's fit again and plays on the left. Cafu on the right. And an interesting alteration that Bostock have made this last game or two is they've gone with one holding in terms of live. Welsh has pushed forward to partner Bowyer in centre midfield. Carlos Jacques plays behind a front two of Nicholas Anelka, who the breaking news was that he was apparently unhappy at being substituted last time out and caused some unrest, but he starts regardless, as does Diego Tristan for the first time this season. So interesting to see how he fares, having not really had any action at all. Last time out, they had the defeat to Fulchester, which we thought might see Macca and Ryan maintain their playoff hopes and title hopes, but it wasn't to be because of the Halls result. Bostock then looking to return to winning ways tonight at home to Halls. I'm a big fan of Tristan as well, Steve, in fairness. So the first game of the night, we will play, as there's only two, we'll play, I intend to play all the playoff games. Sure, no worries. I will change that as I'm not kicked off. I intend to play all the playoff games on fast unless it gets really interesting, and then we'll slow it down to medium. Evening, Duggan. Congratulations on your new post as manager of Dragons. With Jamie moving upstairs was the big news that they announced the other day. Welcome back to the Super League. Any predictions, fire them through. I'll be reading out your comments as we go along. Let's kick off the first of two games tonight. Bostock Stanley at home to Halls Vikings, and it's Halls coming forward first. Crespo, Viduka, but Sylvester wins ahead, and Jacques run at Smolewski, but it's a foul. Indeed, the rattlesnake emoji from Duggan. Of course, I know it's a dragon. Bostock wants a penalty. Referee says no. Early claims, but Mr. Oliphant saying not a chance. Vogel takes a free kick the other way. The Dimble wishing both good luck. Maybe one eye on this as a scouting mission. It was Welsh with the opportunity for Bostock Stanley there, but well saved. Excuse me. If I sound a bit lethargic, lads, it's because in preparation for the playoffs, me and Aidan went out for our dinner tonight, and I had an absolutely fucking massive carvery, and I'm very, very full. So that might be why. But I will do my best to maintain the high standards expected of a Super League commentator. Vogel with another set piece. Crespo fails to convert as we approach half an hour in this game. A lot of work in the midfield, it seems, from the names popping up. Vogel taking a lot of the set pieces for Halls here. Crespo now coming forward and Malewski, but Cafu gets in the way. Gaff picks it up. And a diving header, and it's 1-0. The first goal of the playoffs is scored by Brozek on 29 minutes for Halls Vikings. What did I have for dessert? Well, I had the ultimate chocolate sundae, the one with the 4 scoops of chocolate ice cream, the 4 scoops of vanilla ice cream, the Twix, the M&Ms, the Maltesers, the whipped cream, and basically whatever else they could throw in. Did you take your big plate, Fifey? No, they provided a big plate, and I chose the option for the giant Yorkshire on top instead of the 2 little Yorkshires as well. Thanks for asking that. Back to the game, approaching half-time, 42 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes to be added on, and here come Bostock again, looking to level things up before half-time. Cafu from 20 yards, but it goes high, wide, and not very handsome. Here comes Jacques going all on his own, excellent sliding tackle, but Welsh tries his luck, and there is the half-time whistle. I presume that's to my dessert, Steve, and not to this game, but we have reached half-time. Wednesday the 13th of April, this game's been played on. Halls 2 shots on goal, 2 on target, 1 goal. Bostock 5 on goal, but only 1 on target. We did see Welsh trying from distance, Cafu trying from distance, and just smashing it well over the bar. So there's still plenty in this, I think, for Bostock. Halls, I think, are going to have to work very hard to maintain this lead. Let's have a look first at the at the Bostock stats, and well, not really numbers we expect. Say Roberto and Cafu not having it all their own way for a change, especially when you think the starting positions tactically, Halls aren't technically playing anybody wide, although the arrows do alter that, of course. Welsh not having his best game either. Anelka very quiet. In fact, none of the attacking trio having the shots, as you can see from the stats there. Very low passing attempts from anybody within the squad, really. Not what Scott will be wanting to see at all. Let's have a look while he decides he wants to make any half-time substitutions at the Hull stats, and slightly better numbers, although not great. But the all-important numbers are the ones at the top that says they are winning 1-0 thanks to that Brozek goal. The other attempt, it was by Milewski, which I believe was the rebound from the free kick. Vogel's name was mentioned a lot. He's had the most attempted passes, but only rating a 6 at half-time. Nothing really of note going on. Silvestri is class, particularly on this game, Steve. I agree. Del Piero for Keane. Del Piero and Keane for Tristan and Nelka. Right, so Del Piero for Nelka, Tristan, Keane, Del Piero AMC, Keane forward left, Shax forward right. Yeah, so just like that, no problem at all, Scott. I have in the background, for anyone remotely interested, got the international friendly between Scotland and Poland, and Scotland have just gone 1-0 up, as Jens says, as is. I believe Wales are also playing tonight, and I believe are winning thanks to a Gareth Bale free kick, but I can't concentrate on more than 2 games at a time, and this is much more important to me than the Wales game. Let's kick off the second half then, see if the double substitution for Bostock has the desired effect. Jens keeping faith with his starting 11. And here they come again, Crespo coming forward and Vogel from distance. But Crespo picks it up, and it's still Crespo, perfect time. Viduka picks it up this time. Viduka tries his luck but scoops it over. Say Roberto did not give him the space. Wales is 2-1 now. Thank you, Tato, for being our Fifey's fine. Yeah, and do you know what, Duggan? It's miles away as well. It's over by the telly. Hang on, let me move it somewhere where there's some material. Hopefully that'll quieten it down. Hopefully you shouldn't get distracted by that anymore. But yeah, it was far away, but normally I have it resting on like a notepad or something so the vibrations can't be heard. We've reached the hour. Thanks for the starting burst of players, Fifey. Interesting stuff. No problem at all, Tato. Del Piero has a crack for Bostock. Excuse me. I'll find other ways through the other shows of showing some more players, and of course anyone who's requested screenshots will be getting them imminently as well. Bostock win a corner, 71 minutes on the clock. And now we're into the final 10 minutes. Bostock still coming forward, looking for that equaliser. We go into the 3 minutes of injury time. Here they come again, Bowyer. Still Bowyer, going all on his own. And Zé Roberto, well saved. And now on the counter-attack, here goes Crespo. Can he get a second to wrap it up? Crespo denied, it's a corner kick. Agat swings it in. Crespo, terrible effort. Could have wrapped it up in injury time. Hasn't done, but Brozek's picked up the goal kick. And it's Brozek and it's 2-0. And what a massive goal that could be in this tie. It is Bostock Stanley 0. Hull's Vikings 2 on the full-time whistle. And Brozek, with his 5th of the season, could have had a major impact on this tie there. A much more entertaining second half from both sides, chances created. Hull's clinical, I agree, Duggan, massive second goal. Ian Ed was saying, well done, Jens. Dimble agreeing, big goal. As I say, much more entertaining second half from both sides. Much more intent, much more chances created. Jens pointing out it is only half time, as is the cliche. And just look at the difference. If you look at the centre backs, Steve mentioned Silvestri, he's rated a 9 at full time, whereas partner, the normally reliable Assisi, really struggled tonight, rating only a 5. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the Hall's goalkeeper stats, as a few of you have mentioned in the chat there. Looked like he had a huge performance. Lee Bowyer, particularly at the end, looked like he was a man on a mission. Just trying to do everything himself in the end. He still intends on having a massive say in this tie. But it wasn't to be tonight, unfortunately, for Bostock. So Scott's going to have to go away and work out how to overturn a 2-goal deficit away from home. As for Halls, it's 2-goal man Brozek with man of the match and a 10 out of 10 rating. Unsurprisingly, the goalkeeper rating very highly as well for his performance. Still some areas where it wasn't quite at its best, but all things considered, Jens, I imagine, will be very happy with that performance and result. Not much to complain about at all if you are of the Halls persuasion. The ideal start. What a player Brozek is, one of the best season 5 as well. There's a few players like that though, Tato, I would argue. He's been fairly quiet this season, and you know, that's his 4th and 5th goal of the season, only the 1 assist, low average rating. So maybe season 5 will be his year. But congratulations to Jens, commiserations again to Scott. Both of you have some big decisions now ahead of the second leg. That brings us to the second game, and it is Northern Burn entertaining Churchtown, and very interesting. Perhaps not surprising given current form, but very interesting that Churchtown were voted favourites for this on the poll this morning. He's been shy this year, indeed. Churchtown, they did make one squad alteration with Tim being dropped to the reserves and Hakan Mild being brought back into the first team fold for the playoff campaign. And he again goes straight in on the bench. A return to the week 22 tactic it is for Churchtown tonight. Viali and Terry partner each other again. Dimble's been sort of resting one, primarily Terry, as both have been on a booking to make sure that one, if not both, were available for this game, and they've both made it. Cambiasso and Tomasi either side Mendes de Silva, the preferred central midfield partnership of Raquelme and Van Bommel, and the informed players Brujink and Hussein continue with Agahawa partnering them in attack. As we saw earlier last time out, a slightly altered Churchtown side went down 1-0 away at Halls, but they have been in fantastic form to claim 5th place. And Northern Burn, very consistent. You know, they've been there all season, but they just couldn't sort of maintain their early season form. When the likes of Bostock came calling and then Dudley ultimately claimed 2nd, they had to settle for 4th. So if they're going to defend their title, they're going to do it the hard way. As we all know, no team outside the top 2 has ever won the Super League. But you would not write Churchtown off in terms of form or Northern Burn in terms of quality. That is for sure. And if you missed the post with the head-to-head record, just the 1 win ever for Churchtown against Northern Burn, but it was last time out when Raquelme and Tomasi scored in a 2-0 win. As for Northern Burn, last time out they had that entertaining 3-3 draw with Asta, where they rested everyone but Sigalco and Toldo pretty much. They made one squad alteration as well ahead of the playoffs. Medina coming in, not featured for the first team at all this season, hardly featured for the reserves, but he gets a call up with Kovac being dropped to the reserves. One slight surprise in terms of the 11, and that's that Henrik Larsson's included, partnering Sigalco for this fixture. Normally they play a 2 behind 1. Yeah. Oh, did I not? Totti is supposed to be captain anyway, so we'll just put that one in. I thought I'd already done that. Again, fire your predictions through, please, lads. Second and final game of the Babel and Xavier partnership incoming for the second leg. Quite possibly, depending on how this one pans out. We saw... You did, Ian, yeah, I know. I thought I'd already done it. Evidently I didn't. I apologise, but he is there now, wearing the armband as he should be. Let's kick this one off then. The second of 2 games tonight, the second playoff elimination final leg 1. Duggan predicting 1-1 in this one. And that's 2 early chances for Northern Burn, and that was Robin with the second. But they've both gone over the bar. And here they come again. Free kick to Churchtown there, Raquelme. And Agahawa. And wow, what a start for Churchtown. Northern Burn have 2 or 3 opportunities. Churchtown go straight up the other end, get a free kick. And Agahawa puts them 1 goal ahead at the home of the defending champions. And now we certainly have a game on our hands. And again, another free kick for Churchtown. And now Burn come forward. And it's your Gatos and Keane and Totti, but well defended by John Terry. 15 minutes only on the clock. Is this one of those occasions, if there is such a thing where a team has scored too early? I'm sure Dimble will have his thoughts on that, but it's Larson and Robin combining, but Churchtown managed to withhold the pressure again. And here goes Sigalko and Larson, but Khan saves well. What an acquisition Khan's been. I mean, Hedman was very good last year, but Khan has been different level this year. Sigalko levels things up on 23 minutes. It's Northern Burn 1, Churchtown 1. It had been coming. Burn very much the dominant side in this first half, but there's another yellow card handed out. And Burn's discipline at times has been called into question. So could they be in trouble here? And Viali this time with a yellow card. Does that mean he's suspended for the second leg? Churchtown again on the counter, but it comes to nothing. Here comes Keenan, Jorgatos, Vieira, Agahawa and Cambiasso. Now it's up with Brujink, but Toldo saves well. Cambiasso picks it up, and Keen's shown the yellow card this time. So that's Keen and Vieira among a number of players on a yellow card. And crucially, Mendes de Silva has been taken off injured just after the half-hour mark. So could we see Hakan Mild now feature surprisingly for Churchtown? He got the call up, made the bench, and now he could be coming onto the pitch with best part of an hour to play. While we wait Duggan's decision, I'll take the opportunity for a quick drink. While we do wait, a small recommendation for those of you remotely interested. When the Super League isn't on, if you're looking for a new series to start, I've recently started watching the series Peacemaker, the John Cena character from Suicide Squad. It is in a stupid way, in a very adult stupid way. It is very, very funny. So I would highly recommend that if you're interested in sort of DC superheroes. Hakan Mild does come on for Churchtown, and we continue with this first half of action. Tamazi comes forward and it's Agahawa, and Agahawa hits the woodwork and it goes over the bar. Hussein picks up from the goal kick there. Now Tamazi crosses it in, and Cambiasso and Van Bommel well, and it's gone out for a corner, and another corner. Agahawa Hussein, Robin intercepts, and Burn managed to keep the ball. Approaching half-time, 40 minutes currently on the clock. An offside decision. Churchtown starting to be a bit more proactive coming forward now. There's Tamazi Raquelme 30 yards out, and Cambiasso, and it's saved again by Toldo and goes out for a corner into injury time. And no, maybe one last chance. Brujink, Hoffland, Jorgatos, Raquelme, excellent tackle. Agahawa picks it up, and a free kick, and there's not even enough time for Raquelme to take it. It is half time. It is 1-1. That surprises me that Churchtown have had more shots on goal. It didn't feel that way to me. I certainly felt like Northern Burn came forward a lot, but perhaps that was well defended by the likes of Terry and Viali, not allowing them to actually create the chances. They got into good spaces, perhaps. Let's have a look at the home side first, then, and Larson actually he's performing well. 8 out of 10 in the first half. Usually when he does play, he's very average and gets pulled at half time, but he's doing well. I mentioned the yellow cards, Totti, Keane and Vieira, the men for Northern Burn who have those yellow cards at half time. Gatos been heavily involved, as is Totti. A few other players who are usually a lot more involved, particularly in terms of passing and retention of the ball, not as involved as usual. Sigalko with the 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. As for Churchtown, who have already had to make the alteration with Mendes de Silva coming off injured and Mild coming on, Hussein, he's struggling tonight. Only a 5 out of 10 at half time. but his form may see him remain on the pitch. Ian Edwards going as is. Cambiaso's name seems to get mentioned a lot, but he's not been depicted highly in terms of rating. Agahawa, on the other hand, arguably the pick of the bunch in that first half. Will Dimble make any alterations? He's got some fine attacking talent on the bench with Alex Salas and Santa Cruz as sub-5 available to him if he so wishes. Dimble also going as is. So let's kick off the second half and see who can take, if anyone can take, I should say, a lead into the second leg, which is scheduled to be played currently on Sunday. It's Byrne who have started quickest again. Linesman's had his flag up. Free kick awarded. Cannavaro booked. Fife and Cambiasso love shock. I'm a big fan. I was a fan of his in real life as well. I thought he was an excellent and very underrated player. Trusting Hussein, I agree, Tater. And I think his form in the back end of the season warranted that trust. We've had best part of 10, 15 minutes go by without anything happening. Well over the hour mark now. Larson's knocked to the ground. And he's reaching for a card, and it's a yellow card, and that's Terry booked, so we may well be seeing changes if I remember correctly, and both of those may now be suspended for the second leg. Sigalko hits the upright, Meal manages to clear, and here goes again, and it's another yellow card dished out. Plenty of cards being dished out in this game. Churchtown just not managing to get much going forward, but here goes Brujink. It's a free kick with Kwame to line it up. It looks harsh. Claims for a penalty. The referee says no. He was waving it away. Tamazi, it looked like, was certainly taken to the floor. It must have been a very well-timed tackle. 3 minutes to be added on to this one. Looks like Duggan's 1-1 prediction could be right. And there is the final whistle. And the second game does end 1 apiece. Churchtown didn't really, as it felt, create as anything in that second half. Burnwood very much the dominant side, but failed to make that dominance count in terms of goals. I'm just looking here. Passes completed by both sides, decent levels. Tackles won, okay, they're above average. If I was Churchtown, I'd maybe be a little bit concerned it was that low. And Burn edging the aerial battle. Shulgatos picking up man of the match for his performance. He did seem very busy, and his partner on the other side, Contra, equally busy. Larson maintained his levels. Vieira actually playing well as well. Tense stuff indeed, Dimble. Tense stuff indeed. As for your side, rating's not quite as generous as Burns, I would suggest. The yellow cards dished out to Terry and Viali. So, as mentioned by yourself and then by me in commentary, I believe that means both may be suspended for the second leg. Just trying to pick out a few key performances. Agahawa and Raquelme working hard in midfield. The better players for Churchtown tonight. But that one is certainly on a knife edge going into the second round of games. Quick fire show. That's your results. We have Bostock standing 0, Halls 2. 5 feet. 5 feet shows Gareth Barry. I mean, okay. I'm not going to start taking all sorts of requests though. He's currently at Roma. There you go. The one thing I said scheduled to play Sunday, there is possibility, if the managers want me to, that I could, in theory, play around a fixture Saturday night, sort of later on, maybe sort of 10 p.m. kickoff, and then again at the usual Sunday time if managers wanted me to. Let me know. If you don't want me to, I'm happy to leave it till Sunday as normal. That is not a problem for me either. Packs will go out tomorrow night when I get in from work anyway. So if you want to play Saturday, get your teams in by, I don't know, 6 p.m. Saturday. If anyone's missing, then I'll just not play it till Sunday as normal. That's not a problem at all. I also have some thoughts about some developments to the Super League I'm going to look to bring in for next season. I've just got to have a bit more think about how I'm going to work it, and I may well announce those on Saturday/Sunday show. Both Sat and Sun signed me up. Excellent, Jens. But there we go. The first 2 games of the playoffs in the bag. Whether it's Saturday or Sunday, we'll announce it once I know what the managers want to do. But either way, we have 3 games. We have the second legs of these fixtures, plus the first leg of Devils versus Dudley Hill. It's been an entertaining evening. Some 2 interesting results there. Can't wait for the second leg. But I can probably do Saturday excellently. But until the weekend, whenever it turns out to be, from Super League HQ, thanks for joining me tonight. And don't forget to watch Peacemaker in the meantime. And if you did miss the start, go back, watch the opening sort of 9-10 minutes where I just randomly started clicking through a few players who are not currently in the Super League. It's just done by value who the highest rated players in each position are in the world right now. From me, a very good night.